Hello and welcome back to the channel. I hope that you're having a fantastic day. I hope that your day is okay, spectacular, stupendous, but above all, I really do hope that you're okay and you continuously to give yourself much love, respect, and care that you need. You're not a robot. You're a human being, and unfortunately, we go through things in life that continuously to feel rocky and turvy that makes us be trapped within our own minds and continuously to feel exhausted between the outside world and within ourselves. It's a battle, it's a struggle, but I really do hope that you're okay regardless of any situation between something at work, personal, or if anything mental. I do hope that you're okay. Continuously to show up for yourself, continuously to cheer for yourself, continuously to be your own cheerleader. I really do want that for you, and I hope that you are. But again, above all, I really do hope that you're okay and continuously to give yourself much love, respect, and care. But again, like yesterday's video, I'm going ahead to keep it very much like light and simple. And today it's just gonna continuously be one of a normal, casual, bizarre topic. But then again, my video is just bizarre and strange on its own in general. Again, just learning to go with it. But today's topic, I'm going to go ahead and just let my inner fangirl come out because again, legit, like I said, I can talk about many topics about multiple things. But today I feel very sluggish. I have too much going on between I'm just not myself right now. And I'm gonna still continue to show up and not exactly put on a whole brave face or a fake mask or anything. Nope. Mm-mm. I'll happily admit that I am not feeling well right now and I am indeed feeling sluggish. So keep it light, keep it simple. But today I'm going to continuously to keep it as me, but just continuously to be more simple about it, especially towards the fact that well, I'm pretty sure in the the introduction video about my channel that again I am indeed a fangirl. I'm not gonna exactly deny or pretend that I am indeed a nerd, a geek, a person that enjoys many things between pop culture or anything that piques my interest. But today's topic, I am talking about the beautiful joy of yaoi. If you don't know what that means, it mostly between the explicit details or even just shows more towards like the whole love dynamic or character interest between two men. It is indeed a topic about LGBTQ. If you are type of person that is not exactly a fan of LGBTQ, that's not for you. Walk away. But if you are indeed a person who is indeed LGBT and enjoy the many interests or many topics discussing about LGBT between girl love stories, boy love stories, or if anything between my personal favorites or anything of recommendation. I legit have a whole plethora for it. So, but today, again, keep it light and simple because today I just got through reading one of the stories I have read since the beginning. It was indeed rocky and indeed turbulent, but I continuously to watch it. I continuously to read every chapter, continuously to follow every updates, and I was still enjoying the story, even though the male lead continuously to give me a headache. But from the start, it was interesting. It just did feel rocky. And in all honesty, it just felt like there was going to be no ounce of hope at all. But, well, the story continues to progress. It still continuously to give some nuance to the story, be it both good and bad. It just mostly depends on the reader, how they feel about it. So, but today's topic, I will be discussing the Manwha Jinx. And if anything, the little synopsis story is basically MMA fighter ex chiropractor, or if anything, is more. It also falls into the category between like a Cinderella kind of like rescue plot, because unfortunately, well, our like male character, the main character is comes from a very poor line, like very, very poor. But unfortunately, again, life happens, situations happen, and it was indeed out of his control. And then you indeed have the MMA fighter again, because he's rich. So you have that. But the story definitely wasn't exactly a typical story, which is good. One thing for sure is the fact that some yaoi stories will still continuously to have some story plots that will be the same and some not so much. Again, it mostly depends on the writer themselves. Especially since you have a lot of writers that either work with other famous writers. Now you literally do, and especially if you're a mangaka, legit, you have many famous like manga artists had indeed worked with other famous artists in the past. So it would be the same way as well for yaoi. So there's no exactly a difference there either. But it's also the fact that legit each writer also would be inspired by the work and legit use that inspiration, turn it to something else. But also, unfortunately, even that, it will also somehow create still a feud between the situation. Like, even though, especially, the story is not exactly the same, but you could see between similarity of the characters, or if anything, mostly the art style. Well, but that's a whole topic for another thing. I'm pretty sure if you are indeed the person that enjoys reading, and you probably already know between two certain feuds between two manga artists as it is. Both stories are good. It just there's a heavy scenario behind that, but we're not going to discuss it. We're just going to go ahead and jump into the main story in general. But the story Jinx was indeed good. I actually did enjoy it. But again, the male lead, oh god, the roller coaster with him. Also, probably some spoiler alerts. So if you don't want to exactly have any spoilers and you want to be spoiler free, don't read it. I mean, don't like watch the video. That was my fault. I mean, don't watch my personal intake, my own personal opinion on it. Or if anything, legit, if you want to see if the story is actually good to read, my advice, always read comment sections, because even the comment section can tell you if the story is worth it or not. But again, it also depends on your own discretion. So sometimes the comment section could be wrong about a story. Like legit, there's times where you go look at the comment section and the comment section really does not have the best word input, especially for the story. When you get a chance to read it your own self, you'll be like, I don't know why the comment section was against it. The story is actually good. But again, some comment section really does have a whole wonky scenario thing going to it. So again, really just move at your own discretion. But the plot is basically you have the MMA fighter named Jo Jak Young, And then we have our beloved hamster. His name is Kim Dan. And a lot of things happen, especially since between Kim Dan being very financially unstable, but then again, that's mostly between him indeed been raised from a whole poor upbringing, so clearly he was already going to be struggling in life as it is. And then bad enough, he was also taking care of his dying grandma who had cancer. So luckily by chance, he got a chance to be hired at this training gym for this athlete, and the athlete would be Jo Jak Young. Unfortunately, his personality is extremely horrible. Like Jo Jak Young character really is the type of person, if he doesn't say anything, you be like, he's not so bad until he speaks, and then you're like, never mind. Bad enough, if anything, if you read the story Jinx, just to let you know, the man indeed looks like Jotaro Kujo from JoJo Bizarre Adventure. If you don't believe me, do a side by side comparison of both their facial features. I'm telling you, they do. But if anything, Jo Jak Young is based off Song Ho from Painter of the Night. That story itself is already rocky and turbulent as it is, but it's also worth the read. It just, you very, viewer discretion is advised on both categories. But also the same thing for viewer discretion is advised for Jinx, but for Pain in the Night is definitely more high, like the very high level of viewer discretion is advised. Jinx has that level, but it really does depends on how you want to continuously to move forward and read it. So definitely move at your own discretion. But overall, it's the fact that he got a chance to work with him, and unfortunately, more financial situations continuously happen. So, if anything, it leads to a business proposition, but again, business proposition. It wasn't exactly anything like he needed him for actually being hired for what he needed him to do. Because again, Kim Dan is hired to be a personal like chiropractor, a like personal masseuse that helps like athletes release their muscle or legit help them whatever sprain issue or muscle conjointments that they're having. But when Jo Jak Young invited Kim Dan for his place, it didn't exactly go like that. So with that one, it mostly again involved a business proposition that it continuously to be the setup and starting point for what exactly happens as things continuously to progress in the story. This is why I say it's also kind of like Cinderella plot based, but not fully. Because again, there's no like Prince Charming or anything. Well, Jo Jak Young is good looking, but just because you're good looking does not give you the privilege or even any ounce of respect to treat people with that much of disrespect. Like, after I continuously to read the story, my respect level for him was extremely low. It was at 0. I mean, it was in indeed the negative factor. But when we continuously to read the story, continuously to progress, continuously to see things continuously to move forward and forward, and continuously to move even more between the relationship between Kim Dan and Jo Jak Young, my respect for Jo Jak Young was still something. If anything, I gave him a certain point factor. He only had between either 5% respect, 10%, 10% respect, 11% respect, and then between 12, 13, and 14. Recently, he did have a 14% respect. That's because he actually apologized and actually did the work. But oops. But my own personal intake is the fact that I definitely indeed enjoyed the story. And definitely between we finally figure out the backstory between these two, all honesty, well, then again, they continuously gave glimpses and glimpses between Cho Jack Young. All honesty, again, spoiler, I really thought he was just mostly from an orphanage or something. But no, he just indeed had a bad upbringing as well. Especially found out the fact that he comes from a very broken home, a abusive father, a mother that left him with his said father, and yeah, he basically was just struggling when he was a kid, but he continuously to survive as much as he can given the certain circumstances he went through. And with Kim Dan, I continuously to theorize of what exactly was Kim Dan backstory? Like, did his parents like divorce or leave, or like who was related to the grandmother? But found out just like Kim Dan's parents died when he was a baby, so the grandmother basically raised him. Which kind of was one of my theories. I'm actually happy about that one, but it took me a while to finally just like, yes, finally, I finally figure out what his backstory is. It was a while, but finally get a chance to know what it was. But the overall thing is the fact that the ending, I don't exactly hate the ending, but my own personal opinion is the fact that there's nothing that screams these two should be together or that they deserve to be together. Granted, both of them indeed have between abandonment wounds. I get that everybody suffer from abandonment wounds, but it really just says the fact that Joe Chuck Young has to face his own continuously of personal demons and battles. And unfortunately, Kim Dan has to learn just to, well, be alone. Well, not exactly saying he's going to be alone forever type thing. It just more towards the fact that you just have to accept the fact that at a starting point in life, you first have to be comfortable with the whole feeling of, well, being alone, but not exactly saying he's never going to meet anybody. Just more towards the fact that when you indeed lose somebody, it is going to be very much of a whole rocky start. Because again, I've been there, we all been there, but you really do just have to learn how to live on your own for a moment and able to survive and breathe again in life. Even though Joe Chuck Young did say the fact that he Kim Dan can rely on, like he's not officially alone. It just more towards if he ever just indeed needs someone to talk to or lean on, he actually does have the support for that. That's fine. That's perfectly okay. But it really also doesn't exactly help the fact of between the rocky situation that happens between them. Because all honesty, the things that happen between them really does not scream these two should be together or there's anything in the category of love between these two. I mean, if anything, realistically, it really is given just trauma bonding. No offense. Like, it is giving that, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have indeed a personal take. That's fine. You have your opinion, I have mine. But it really just says the fact that both of them has to face their own personal demons and face their own wounds separately to be able to heal and grow. Even though you could still probably heal and grow with another individual, but sometimes you do just have to take the first step of your own personal healing. But I will say Joe Jock Young's like personal trauma, he did indeed heal that. Again, spoiler. especially towards his backstory of his upbringing. Him and his father basically, well, again, his father was abusive and continuously to put Jo Juk Young down. That made him feel like he'll never get a chance to either accomplish anything in life or just feel like he get a chance to amount to anything. So, unfortunately, with that, you don't want to have a situation where you two continuously either to verbally yell or have someone related to you continuously put you down. And then, unfortunately, that will be your last words to them, especially when they pass and that's the one thing you remember that happened. And unfortunately, it stayed in his mind for a very long time. And that basically, I can understand that. From that point, I can understand. But it's also from the fact of legit, he also get a chance to heal another part because of another dying situation that happens. That Kim Dan life was indeed at risk. And it's the fact that legit, he never got a chance to, well, again, when you have a whole abusive upbringing, there's not gonna exactly have any peace from that. But when Kim Dan's situation happened, it mostly gave him a chance to put more things in a better light, to actually have something that didn't, that something that left a very damning tarnished mark on him, actually get a chance to be something that feel less damning and something actually, trying to figure out how to say this, it definitely helped him, even though it still came from a place of between a wounded moment. But it's more towards the fact that instead of anything negative, the output, it was definitely something more of a whole healthier output. Even though the situation was indeed dire, it's the fact that, well, Jo Juk Young father says something extremely hateful, and Jo Juk Young says something extremely hateful as well. And unfortunately, that's what happened. When Kim Dan and his situation is the fact that he basically gave Jo Juk Young words of encouragement. Even when the situation still happened, he still wished him the respect and luck to able to still win the fight. And with that one, he did. He indeed won the fight, which is also good. But it also gave him a chance to finally say that part of him that of finally releasing pain and anguish. He got a chance to apologize. He got a chance to let every anger ailment that continuously to cloud his head and finally able to release it and let go. That part was indeed another like healing moment for him. Now the first one was involved the fact of legit someone that Jo Juk Young knew told Kim Dan his backstory, and Kim Dan gave him more encouraging words, even more. And with that, Kim Dan basically told him that even though he went through a lot of hardships, it shows how much he still had a very fighting spirit. And without that fighting spirit, he wouldn't be who he is today. And that indeed healed that sad inner wound part of him. So with that, Kim Dan helped him heal two parts of his inner wounds, which is definitely fantastic, which is indeed great. But unfortunately, the tragedy for Kim Dan is the fact that he really didn't exactly have anybody else. He unfortunately had to grow up immediately because of the situations that happened, and also towards the fact that he didn't exactly have anybody else. He didn't get a chance to be friends with anybody else. He mostly did have a whole isolated life. Even though Jo Jack Young did the same thing, his life was indeed isolated. But Kim Dan, his is more in the category of he doesn't want to be alone. But then again, nobody does want to be alone. Like legit, it is a scary feeling. It is indeed a scary thought. But unfortunately, in his category, it just feels a very heavy wound because, well, when you feel alone, you just feel like you're abandoned between by people and life, and you just feel like it will continuously be a whole endless thing where you won't get a chance to experience anything that most people do. Now, one thing for sure, Jo Jack Young did give Kim Dan things to experience, which is also a good thing. But for me personally, the reason why I said these two don't exactly scream anything that they should be getting together, even with the redemption arc, that's perfectly fine. We still enjoy a redemption arc, but it really doesn't excuse the fact of what exactly happened from the very beginning. Even though he does apologize, but again, it really doesn't exactly help the emotional entitlement that it put on Kim Dan at every given way. And it's the fact that all that continuously to build him more of anxiety and depression, and you continuously to see that he was spiraling more and more. But it's also the fact of legit, even though legit the story itself is literally just like a fantasy story, that's fine. It's not realistic. But in real life, these two really do just have to go their own separate ways and able to, well, do things like they normally do and move in life differently. Kim Dan, unfortunately, have to experience life again for the first time after losing his grandmother. And Jo Jack Young has to also deal with a wound that will never disappear either. Also, another spoiler is the fact that in Jo Jack Young category, his other issue wound is abandonment issue by his mother. And again, Kim Dan issue is mostly just between loneliness. So even though legit, again, you can actually find somebody where you two can heal each other, but at the same time, you still have to do personal healing on your own. The story was indeed good. It was indeed rocky. It was indeed very much of a headache inducing. But it just definitely felt more iffy between these two screaming together. Even though legit I still enjoy reading stories. But even then, I still feel like, well, these two still don't belong together. Like legit, there's some stories where I actually do enjoy the fact that they indeed go their separate ways. Or if you actually have a story where just even more actually makes sense, is like, okay, yeah, they deserve each other. Or if anything, I continuously to read BL that legit have an ending that has, well, I'm traumatized now. Or if anything, well, he just accepted his fate on that one, didn't he? He's like, yeah, there is no escaping it. I accept the fate. I'm going to stay with him. And you're just like, yay. You're like, I'm happy for him, just a little bit iffy. But overall, it's the fact that between Jinx, the story is definitely indeed not gonna be everybody's cup of tea. Some people will probably love it. Some people will hate it. Me personally, I was just gonna continuously to see how the story unfold, and I'm glad I stuck with it. Like legit, the amount of dedication I put into it, I continuously to read it every single day that it was updated. Every time it was updated, I read it. And it did not matter between either I was on a bus, in a public setting, or even at work on break, or even before I started my break, or even before I started work, I got a chance to read it, sat with it, and just continuously to see how the story progressed. Like legit, we both of them do have a whole mysterious backstory, and you kind of just want to know what exactly happened. But even then, you still have to fill in the blanks of how you want to do it. So it really just continuously to based on what exactly you could theorize between little information before the actual manga artist actually deliver the actual full story of the whole background between these two. So that was already a nice slow pace into that one. Because on honesty, legit never thought that between any of the scenarios what exactly happened. But it did. It surprised me. I still enjoyed it, and I still continuously read it up until its final chapter. But I'm trying to remember a train of thought. But overall, it's the fact the story is not exactly bad. Like all honesty, Kim Dan. I'm not gonna exactly lie. Kim Dan indeed made it more worthwhile reading because again, he's adorable. He's a little hamster. Kim Dan is an adorable hamster. But also the fact that he is 30 and he looks that adorable. So it's interesting, also very mind boggling. Also, it's even more funny. It's like a giant age gap. Like Juck Young is like in his mid 20s, and like I think he's like either 23, 24, or 25. I already know it's like in somewhere that time bracket, or if he's 26. And it's the fact that Kim Dan is like 29, so that gap is a little bit interesting. It's really is the fact that Jo Hyuk Young is younger and Kim Dan is older. But you would never think, especially between the way how, well, Kim Dan does not look 30. He just looks adorable. He really is the like manga version of you don't look your age, even between the stress, the environment, and situation you've been put through. And it really does shows for his character. So you have indeed that for Kim Dan. But overall, the story is not exactly bad. But again, it just not gonna exactly be everybody's cup of tea. But I still enjoy the story. It just the ending itself. Adjusting myself. But no, it just overall the story not exactly up my alley. Well, not the story itself. I meant like the ending. The ending was cute. The ending was fine, but I just still continuously read it, but the ending was fine. I didn't exactly hate it that much. It just more towards like it's one of those feelings that you be like, well, that's cute, but I still enjoyed it, and I still enjoy the fact that even when Kim Dan's grandmother finally passed, it's also the fact that everybody at the training gym showed up to the funeral and still had Kim Dan's back and also gave him support regardless of anything. So that was already a whole nice, okay, I actually like that. I'm rooting for that part. So that one was actually yes for me. But also, it's just more towards the fact that legit, just mostly towards the fact of, well, when you have a story like that and you continuously to read and progress it, it just unfortunately you can't forgive certain things that happen in the story. You want to, you try to, but unfortunately is there like a permanent like tattoo. It just for like forever tattooed in your mind. You're just like, ugh. You wish it didn't, but it did. Bad Enough is legit. We all have stories that just basically has that feeling. So it's definitely hard to explain it, but it definitely is that type of feeling. But other than that, I really do enjoy the artist herself. I enjoy both her mangas that she created. I enjoy BJ Alex, and also stands for broadcast jockey. So for YouTube or anything, won't exactly just like assume I said anything inappropriate, even though I curse like a sailor. But the story is basically called Broadcast Jockey. And legit, he is a webcam boy, and his name is Alex. I enjoy that story, especially both the main characters and the side characters. I enjoyed it completely. Now, I'm also looking forward between. I'm not gonna exactly deny the fact that while reading Jinx, I was like, there's no like redeemable characters in this thing. But Bad Enough, legit, we get a chance to see another character. And he's an actor. His name is Heesung. He is also very handsome. But also, he gives very much like Fox energy. There's literally the fact that Jo Jack Young gives off Black Cat energy, but at the same time, he gives off wolf energy, which is interesting. But he sung himself, he just gives off straight up wolf, not wolf. He straight up gives fox energy. So, and it's bad enough the fact that both of them are able to see each other personal, like horrible personalities. Jo Jack Young has indeed horrible personality given from his past. He's sung just the type of person that falls in and out of love, is again like a crush. And then once he gets bored, he just literally. I'm actually intrigued to see how the manga artist does with that one. Definitely intrigued, because I guess when he's literally bored, he'll just go ahead and give you the boot. But then again, he sung is not exactly that innocent either, especially since there's a character inside the story that he does get a chance to sleep with, but even then, he didn't exactly correct the mistake either. He just, well, mostly use it for his own beneficial actions. So you have that as an issue as well. Again, both of them are legit red flags. If anything, I look at Jo Jack Young between. I'm not gonna lie, Jo Chuck Young went from a black flag to a red flag to a yellow. He's stuck between red and a yellow. I'm just gonna give him that. His song is indeed. I'm trying to figure out. Well, then again, he doesn't exactly emotionally abuse you or physically abuse you. Just again, he just the type of person that gets in and out of love. So literally, he looks at you like a crush, wine and dine and pamper you, get his fulfillment, and after a while, tosses you to the side. Heesun really is literally leaning towards the red side, but I'm just going to go ahead and wait. But all honesty, when it came down to it, I was like, is it Jo Jack Young or do I pick Team Heesung? Literally Heesung. Like the whole Twilight of Big where everybody did the whole Edward versus Jacob. I'm going with Heesung because at least with Heesung, you don't end up between emotionally exhausted or a broken nose. You just get an actor just probably do the most dramatic thing. You're just standing there blank face and you're just like accepting and like, okay. Or if anything, you probably would do the whole, is it you? Is it me? He'll probably do another whole dramatic, oh no, it's not you. It's just me. I don't know. We'll definitely see between the side story characters on that one. But again, overall, that's my opinion between the story Jinx. Like, if anything, if you read it, move at your own discretion. Because again, the first half of the story going further in, you're indeed going to go through an emotional roller coaster, and you don't even know if you want to continuously to read the story or do you want to hate the character. Note the wise, it's going to be both. Trust me, legit. When I read it, it was indeed both, and it continuously to be both. So yeah, move at your own discretion on that one. But legit, that's basically my own personal take between the story Jinx. But I don't know, even more than I just feel like it should have been more of a whole time jump between the story. Like legit, they get a chance to heal a bit of their own. Sorry, my laptop basically reset it, but again, it would have made sense that these two wouldn't want their separate ways and just basically try to someone heal themselves after everything that fell apart. So you mostly have that. Jo Jack Young get a chance to well change himself for the better and don't exactly continuously to have that angry energy that he normally has. Or if anything else between Kim Dan just trying to be okay, surviving on his own for momentarily. If anything, they could have did the whole typical, even though it's like a whole typical trope thingy. Some like tropes are still fine. Like literally get a chance to see them again at one point in time, and then continuously to like talk to each other and actually build without one. It could have been even more, but we'll never know. But again, the story was indeed good. It was indeed rocky, but the ending is mostly depends how you personally feel. For me, it was fine. So I'm not exactly saying the fact that I hated the ending. I don't. It just more towards like it was cute. Especially the fact that legit they have a whole cute moments. As really is the fact that Kim Dan continuously just showing up as himself, but it really was the fact that Jo Jack Young finally admits the fact that he says, I am not that much confident within myself that I probably won't exactly revert to horrible personal personalities I have from the past. And the fact that he finally admit that actually does put him more of a better light. He's like, you know what? I'll admit the fact that I've never been loved. And I'm indeed rough around the edges, and I'm pretty sure that I will continuously to be a very much of a pain in the ass. But legit, I am indeed willing to admit that out loud and actually willing to try to put some effort into it. And the fact that he said it like that, I could just understand. Well, then again, I rephrased it, but it's more towards the fact that he basically mentally like, yeah, I'm not that confident in myself, and I'm pretty sure I still have my personal hiccups that I will definitely try time to time, but I'm willing to put in the actual work and effort. And the fact that he says that put me more of a whole 14 respect for him. Because originally it was between a previous chapter, it was like 5%. And then after that, it was indeed 10%. And then between 11 and 12, he earned the 12%. And then after the whole funeral scene, he earned that for 14%. But it was definitely cute. I enjoy a cute moment between them. I'm not going to exactly deny. It was definitely cute. It was definitely worth it. But again, the ending just didn't exactly feel right. But regardless of anything, I still like the manga artist. I still love the story in general. I'm actually glad that I continuously to stick it out and continuously read everything that happened so far, and I enjoyed it with no regrets. But I'm also definitely looking more forward to see the side story, especially between Song and I think his character's name is Mongdong. Excuse me. He's another MMA fighter that works in the training gym where both Jo Jack Young is actually the manager of the gym. So you will also have that. But I'm definitely looking forward to the side stories and just basically see where that goes from that. Balsam definitely is waiting and see between you have some authors from other stories that legit give authors a whole congratulation and draw the characters in their own art style. I'm looking forward to that one in creators note. One thing for sure, when it comes to creators notes, I'm always excited between those little Q&A things, or if anything, see the art style of the characters in different art forms. I actually enjoy that. It's very cute. It's a good chance to see a different, like, personal image or experience from it. Like, legit, you get a chance to have something of, well, the color theory between something of thin lines but more dark warm tones, or some anything between have thick lines but more of a whole lighter, like, bright color aesthetic to it. And I actually enjoy that, especially on the phone. I continuously to save and collect those. That's just another, like, thing I enjoy doing. But unfortunately, when you do that, just unfortunately between phone storage and regular storage, is unfortunately a little habit of mine, and bad enough you gotta continuously to pay more money for storage to be able to continuously to download the images that brings you nothing but joy and happiness. Is indeed a price to pay. But overall, that's just my personal thoughts for the story. But again, legit, like I said, I am indeed a person I am indeed a central person that enjoys the many variety in stories in general. I enjoy a good variety, but when it comes down to it, yaoi is definitely up there. I am indeed a biggest fan of yaoi. I am indeed the type of person that will literally buy a whole stack that will literally be the size of my arm, and I will look at any book clerk in the face, be like, yes, I am indeed buying them. These are indeed for me. It literally goes like that video. If there's a video when you have different type of people that buy smut stories, you have some people that literally accept it, or if anything, when you have people be like just doing that, I'd be like, nope. Yes, I'm buying it. This is indeed for me. Especially again between me going to like anime conventions, and there's so many like anything LGBT related, I will buy it with no hesitation. Absolutely. Especially if it's explicit. Absolutely. But again, that's just one of the other things I enjoy being. I just enjoy being the little weird self that I am, that continuously to buy things that bring me happiness, continuously to read things that bring me happiness. But also another thing, when it comes to the stories of yaoi, it, well, granted they are explicit, so clearly some you're gonna have explicitity with plot, or some mostly just focus on the relationships and the dynamic and the pace building between two people, and it doesn't exactly focus on anything of heavy explicit imagery. That's fine too. But mostly in more in the category, you just really do just want to see more of a whole nuanced way between two men expressing love and feelings for each other. And it's definitely mostly a beautiful thing about that. And I love it. And I will continuously to love it till the very end of time. I will. But above all, that's basically my own personal intake between it. Again, I had something else in mind, but for the last 2 days, I basically just felt very sluggish. But then again, that just mostly between I continuously to tap between my energy, continuously to work with myself, and continuously just to give myself some rest. And the last 2 days, I continuously to give myself rest. So today I chose to go ahead and be the weird, bizarre, centric person that enjoys the world of yaoi, and I have no shame of it either. But I'm going to go ahead and leave you. I am going to go ahead and continuously to give myself rest because I indeed need it. Trying to figure out why I'm feeling so sluggish, but I'm pretty sure just continuously move within the weather and just see what exactly happens or what exactly takes me. But for now, just keep it light, keep it simple, and just take it one day at a time. But I'm going to leave it here. But before I do leave, I really do hope that you're okay and you continuously to treat yourself with love and respect. And hopefully, if you do enjoy the video, that's fine. If you didn't, that's also fine. Again, I'm just going to continuously to show up as myself, continuously to upload, continuously to be the weird, rambling, centric person that I am with no shame or apologies either. And I do hope that you continuously to treat yourself with much love and respect as well. You're human, you're not a robot. You deserve much love, appreciation, and very much everything in life. You actually do deserve, if everybody deserves love, so do you. Everybody actually deserves love and peace, regardless of anything. But again, this is not exactly doing the whole like hippie energy. I just actually come from a place of sincerity when I legit say I do want people to have love and peace. Because again, we all go through some struggles. We all have our own personal battles, and just giving somebody encouraging words actually can just make a person day feel less heavy than whatever we're going through. But even then, sometimes that's also a struggle. But again, it mostly defines like what exactly will get a chance to get you through the day. And everybody has their own different ways to get through the day. But for me personally, it's definitely music. And if I didn't have music in my life, oof, I already know I continuously to feel very foggy in my head. But one thing for sure, I am definitely grateful and happy for music. So that's definitely one thing that continuously helped me. Especially if you were not in the mood or you just don't feel like being around people or wasting energy, just definitely listen to something that makes you feel good, makes you feel happy, something that continuously to make you feel like that type of energy where you just feel you finally breathe and it doesn't exactly feel as heavy. But again, legit, certain things of life will continue to happen, and you really do just want to get a chance to have a moment where you just want to feel very relaxed or just, I finally get a chance to breathe. I finally get a chance to let your shoulders unclench and just finally let yourself just relax in your own body energy instead of running yourself on empty and continuously to move forward between a very heavy cloud. It won't do you any good. You'll continuously to be exhausted regardless of anything, and it will continuously to wear you down each step of the way. Trust me, between people I know, between personal experience, and between seeing it between the way how we live in a world that everything continues to be hustle bustle, and is sometimes you just want to be like, you know what? I don't want to hustle. I don't want to bustle. I want to get a chance to sit in my emotions, feel like a human being, and just indeed be able to be comfortable within my own energy and my own body. It does feels like that, and when certain things continuously to pile up, you just continuously gonna feel yourself building up more and more like a volcano where you just either move between detachment or you just explode like a volcano and you just finally just snap, and it, trust me, it's not worth it. So Please continuously to treat yourself with much love, care, patience, and respect. You're a human being. You're not a robot. And continuously to give yourself love. And if anybody didn't exactly say anything to you, I'm proud of you. I'm glad that you're still here. I'm glad that you're still moving and pushing it forward regardless of anything. I hope that you're okay. I'm checking in on you if you're okay. I really do hope that whatever continuously bothers you, you don't let it get the best of you. You just try not to let your own demons win, even though you just want to surrender and go ahead. The fact that you continuously to try and try not to let it win either, I'm already proud of you for that one. But again, legit, I'm not exactly saying I'm a whole guru or emotional therapist. I am not. I'm just a person just giving word or encouragement to somebody that could actually need it. And we all could use words of encouragement given between the world right now or if anything of what we're going on in life. So words of encouragement continuously to help anything. Just like that movie, paying it forward. So if anything, this is what I'm doing it. Paying it forward. I'm basically paying it forward of legit giving somebody words of encouragement. So take care of yourself, be patient with yourself, and continuously to love yourself regardless of anything. Take care, and I'll see you next time.